Look what people did with toilet paper when fucking
Yeah, that was
COVID
COVID.
started.
Yeah, that was pretty
Look
wild.
at that. I don't think toilet paper is going to be top of the list, but you never know with people these days. You really fucking.
Well, you probably didn't think it was going to be top of the list when COVID hit, but it did.
I really didn't. That surprised me as well.
But it happened.
You saw the worst in people, especially like, mate, Queensland had it very different.
Yeah, so
You know,
I remember.
I'm going to play fucking,
I remember.
Johnny Two Sheds here.
I remember you were in Victoria,
Yeah, it was fucking
and
shit.
I came down in March of 2020, and
What, to Victoria?
yeah, we hung out together. I came to your house. We smoked some weed together. WD-40.
Oh, yeah, out of the WD-40 bomb.
Yeah. But I remember it because it was March, and COVID hadn't really kicked off, but the toilet paper shit had kicked off. And I remember we happily went into a Woolworths, but there was no toilet paper. And then we went back to your house because we went and picked up something in there.
See, man,
And then next thing, I fly back, shit hit the fan.
Yeah,
like
dude.
like 2 weeks later.
But I think as well, because I remember being in Brisbane because I'd come to see my dad. Like he'd just been in
hospital,
hospital
Yep.
because of a thing that happened, and like I remember talking to my wife, and she's like, I was trying to organise to get back because what we would do, because we fly staff travel, because Han works for one of the airlines, is that I'll book a flight there, and then I won't really worry about booking a flight until a few days after I'm supposed to come back.
And you didn't know what was going to happen with your dad anyway.
I had no fucking idea,
and
man.
you had no plans. It wasn't like set in stone.
But it was like the world was falling apart. Like they'd closed the border from Queensland and New South Wales.
Yep.
And you couldn't get across it, sort of thing.
I remember you asked me to drive. You said if it comes to it, you can drive me to the border, and I was like, yeah, man. We'll drive to the
I
border.
remember that. But
Yeah.
Dad drove me to the border.
Did he in the end?
Yeah, he drove me to the border, and I got on a bus.
Did you actually?
I fucking did, man.
Yeah,
It
I
was
didn't
a
know
wild ride. I got on a bus at Tweed Heads, and then that was allowed to go across the border, for some reason.
So weird.
Actually, I don't think the borders were closed because there was no way a bus was getting across if they were closed.
But it was the flights.
The flights were all
because they could control them a lot easier, which makes
so
sense.
the only flight I could get was one from Sydney Airport, and so Ham was like, "How are you going to get to Sydney?" And I was like, "I have no fucking idea."
You were like gonna walk at one point. You were like, "I'll fucking walk."
I guarantee you I'm not that fast at walking that I would have made the flight. But I was like,
That's what you said.
You know, like my brain was like, "Fuck! If I have to walk back to Melbourne to be with." At the time, she wasn't my wife, but I still loved her very much, and my dogs. You know, because you're never truly whole unless you're there with your dogs. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck am I going to do? I can't stay in Queensland for an indefinite amount of time, like
because it was so and stuff was wild.
Yeah.
No one really knew. And
but it was fucking crazy, man. And the point I was trying to make before is like, you saw the worst come out in a lot of people. It was literally like, and that was just that. That was like, okay, yeah, people were fucking getting sick, and you know, COVID cases numbers were fucking way up.
Well, thankfully, the disease wasn't actually that bad. It wasn't as bad. Not that many people dying. It wasn't like a contagion where like 1 in 3 people will die.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there wasn't millions of. Well, there probably has been over the time, but like, you know, in Australia, there wasn't millions of deaths.
But fuck me, man. Like, the shit that people were doing, like, you know, fighting in the shops in a Woolies over shit.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just
Crazy.
like, fuck me. Like, this is what you're doing for this? It goes to show you how quickly the wheels fall off.
Oh, yeah.